check in on Drake Maye. 4 touchdowns in the first half, 5 total as the Patriots, who were resting a good portion of the team, ran up the score on the hapless Jets. 42-0. Had the audacity to start someone named Brady against us. With the Bills' loss, the Patriots clinched the AFC East. How confident, Greg, should New England be?
Yeah, look, they should be very confident.
We'll be there right there in a second. Thank you, Greg. Sorry.
You guys gotta stop falling for it. You gotta stop answering. Where did Wilds go? This guy.
Oh my God. This is
Hats and T-shirt game for every. Oh, shoot! That's all right. Not used to winning the AFC East. It's been a few years. I got a lot of stuff going on. Gentlemen, thank you for your professionalism. Here we go. Door of Destiny hats for everybody.
Wow.
Thank you.
I'm going to
Nice.
No, it's just for your family,
I like
too.
it, Wilds.
Hey, let's go.
You're welcome.
I like it.
You're welcome.
Let's go,
Greg, you were
Wilds.
talking about how confident New England should be.
I was.
This is your size,
and-
small. Go ahead, Greg.
Look, when you look at what this young quarterback is doing, man, and again, this is why you go out and you get a guy that you feel like can change the landscape of what you've been outside of Tom Brady and Drake Maye. And he's been everything that they are hoping that he could have been. And playing against the Jets yesterday, and it matters more for him than a lot of other quarterbacks because we haven't seen him, obviously, in the postseason. But what we have also not seen is him just play absolutely poor.
Right.
We just haven't seen it. And so for me, there's nothing that would make me believe that even having not seen him in the postseason, he's going to play poor regardless of who the opponent is. And I say that because every time he goes out there, he looks prepared. Yeah. They look ready to play. Offensively, he has everything under control. He's calm. He plays the same way every single time. And he just delivers, man. So, look, this team should be confident because of that guy.
No offense to you guys, but that was music to my ears. Brew, you're time for the hater minute.
No, I'm not going to hate. I think they should feel great about their chances, and I really feel like they have as good a chance as anybody in the AFC. The Bills don't look great. The Bills, I'm not saying they aren't. They're not as good as they have been the past few years. I still think it's probably their best shot since the Chiefs are gone. But if you're the Patriots, you have to feel like you can beat anybody. And I think now they've beaten one team with a winning record this year. But the one thing about them, and I'll give you your guys credit, they blow out
they beat
the
up
bad
on
teams.
the
They're not close for the most part. They're not close games. They go out there and play well and just end the game quickly. So Drake Maye is playing awesome, and I don't fully buy in. Like you're saying, he won't have a bad game.
I don't see it happening.
Yeah, he hasn't had a terrible game this year, but it's still possible in the playoffs. But they got a good shot, man.
I said that, and you guys lambasted me.
What?
I shouldn't say those takes when I'm out here by myself. I just got eviscerated.
No, well,
I don't think he can have a bad
Yeah,
game.
I think that's yeah. I think what Greg said is correct. What you said is ridiculous, and I think both are true.
Yeah.
Like you said, you got eviscerated because you said he can't.
Yeah, I don't think.
Greg says he doesn't anticipate it. That's like, I think he has earned the benefit of the doubt that, like, hey, he's not going to be a playoff dropper. He's not going to choke in the playoffs, all of it. Your take, and I'm going to be very pro-Pats, but just since you felt like you were getting picked on, your take felt to me like it was saying Josh McDaniels has given him a bad game-proof offense, and I don't think that exists. So that's why I disagreed with you when you said it last week and now. But here's what I'll say about the Pats this moment. This weekend could not have gone better for them, not just in their performance. And so just give me like 30 seconds here on this. If you guys beat the Dolphins, here's what that means. You have Chargers-Broncos. If the Chargers win, you're the 1 seed.
Love it.
That's ideal. If the Broncos win, if the Broncos win, what that does seeding-wise is That puts the Chargers as the 7 seed, which is the team you want to play because you'll be the 2. And it locks Buffalo to the 6, which means you can't play Buffalo in round 2. I know you keep saying, we'll take Buffalo, we want them. You would like to avoid them as much as possible.
I think that's fair.
And
Out
so,
of all the teams I want to play,
you guys are, if you win, you are set up for a Charger round 1 and then likely a Jags round 2, or if the Bills upset the Jags in that scenario, the Bills have to go because they reseed to the 1 seed. And so you guys have the best seeding setup you could have. It all falls apart if you lose to Miami. But if you beat Miami, then you're in really great shape. And Drake's playing his best ball. You should feel great.
I've got 2 wonderful full screens. And thank you guys for all the support, especially you, bro. I was prepared to.
No, there's nothing not to like.
MVP caliber quarterbacks. And again, Nick got mad at me because I'm not going to the woodshed to try to give Drake Maye his MVP. And I mentioned the Pro Bowl announcement that the Patriots had where Christian Gonzalez and Drake Maye were nominated to, or made the Pro Bowl, and Vrabel gave him one clap and they just looked stone-faced and we're past it. So I think Drake's a little beyond the MVP maybe. It's my own personal theory. Finally, I'd like to address the easy schedule truthers. Here are the easiest schedule for 13-win teams since the merger. The 99 Rams had a very easy schedule, the easiest in fact. They won the Super Bowl. The 72 Dolphins had the second easiest schedule, won 13 games. They won the Super Bowl. Patriots, you win. We've got an easy schedule. We don't know what we're going to do. The Broncos are down there with an easy schedule. We don't know what they're going to do. The 91 Bills lost Super Bowl. So you got 3 teams on there that won the Super Bowl. This is dependent on getting a bye, though. This is very they got the bye.
So
graphic,
I've got something
so I
for
would
you
like
on
to
that.
get the bye.
So and it's harder to get the bye now, obviously. So I did something a little differently. Then we move on. Here were teams that won 13 or more games that year had the easiest schedule in the NFL, which your Patriots check. It's happened 18 times. Only 2 of the 18 lost their first playoff game.
So I see a lot one and done, done.
So only 2 of 18 lost their first playoff game. 15 of the 18 made the conference championship game. 10 of the 18 made the Super Bowl.
I love this.
6 of the 18 won the Super Bowl.
You should have showed me this upstairs.
Well, no, because I'm not. I believed to varying degrees in your Pats throughout the year. I think you are ripe for a fall when you are saying it's impossible that a quarterback play a bad game, and mocking everyone who has pointed out the accuracy, which is you have played an easy schedule, but that doesn't mean you're not a really good team.
Yeah, I told you a story about the Empire State Building.
You only have like 6 stories.
Yeah, Empire State Building, it's right there. And thousands of people go to it maybe every day. But I haven't gone, ever. Am I going today? Nope. How about next Sunday? No. People go, I get it. But not me.
You'll never go?
No, he just why not?
Because today's not the day.
There you go.
Because today, when Drake Maye and Josh McDaniels get that first playoff game, is today the day? Today's not the day to go to the Empire State Building. Empire State Building, just not going to go there. Today's not the day. Coming up next, Brews Ravens. The Box makes another appearance next on First
Go ahead,
Things First.
fellas, play us off.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I got it.
The Trumpets. Defense and running the ball has been in the Ravens' DNA, and John Harbaugh just did a 23andMe. Oh, yeah, we've got Derrick Henry. I just discovered it.
Right.
Season high, 213 yards, 4 touchdowns. Did the Ravens find their winning formula, bro?
Look, we've been saying all year, give the ball to Derrick Henry more. And I do think, and I get it because Lamar Jackson is an all-time great dynamic quarterback. And Henry was phenomenal last year, as was Lamar. But I often watch them, Greg, and I feel like they're not fully, not the players, but the the coaching staff's not fully sure of what it wants to do, because it's almost like you have so many options, that they haven't. This was the first game, even when Henry's had other huge games. This was the first game where it was just like old school. We got the best running back or one of them in the league, and we're just going to ride him. They never do that with Lamar, which I get because he's Lamar Jackson and he can do some other stuff. But there are times, particularly lately when Lamar has been banged up and hasn't played at his best, that you could feature Henry a lot more. So, Henry, the thing too, and you hear, you always hear former players talk about this, he's getting better as the season goes on. His last 3 games, he's averaging 100, or his last 4 games, he's averaging 135 yards a game. The last 3 games, he's been over at 100 yards or more, and he's averaging like almost 7 yards a carry. So, and then later in the season and later in games, defenses are a little bit worn down. So this is the time I would try to ride him. Look, Steelers held him to 94 yards, I think less than 4 yards a carry when they beat him a few weeks ago. So I'm not saying it's going to be easy. And if Lamar does play, obviously I want him throwing more than Tyler Huntley. And, but don't shy away from being more Henry-centric, even if Lamar plays, particularly if he's diminished because of injury. So, yeah, I'm going to try to ride Henry to victory if I'm the Ravens.
Look, I think for this season, based on what we've seen out of Lamar when he has been healthy, whatever version we've seen of him, this is shown to be a proven deal. You give a volume back, volume touches, he's going to end up having success. That's been Derrick Henry throughout the course of his career. The issue with the Ravens is you have one of the most dynamic, scariest players under center in Lamar Jackson. And so as a play caller, you become torn because it's like, do I continue to lean into Lamar or Derrick Henry if it's not working early? Right. And I think that's what they've run into. If it doesn't work early, it's like, okay, Lamar, go.
Or if
and then they don't go back to it. So for this week, going up against the Packers, a banged up front, not great showing against the run even last week, it looked great. I don't know if this is the key to winning in the postseason. It's a part of it, but
no, yeah, I think you have to have Lamar if he can play. You want him throwing the ball and running it if he can, but I think it's a formula for beating Pittsburgh.
And listen, I think it's been a bit. Some Ravens fans act as if that Derrick Henry is just a forgotten man because he wasn't used in a drive last week when he should have been, and that to me is just not the case. I think John Harbaugh's had some game management problems. That's well established. They have more blown double-digit leads. And I think Todd Monken at times has called plays as if he is trying to prove something rather than trying to win the specific game. I've levied those critiques. I think those critiques are fair. But over a large sample of Derrick Henry's career with Baltimore, which is the last 2 years, what you have is the single most productive and the second most used back in the league. He leads the league in rushing yards. He leads the league in yards per game. He leads the league in rushing touchdowns. And he's a handful of rushes off being leading the league in that, but he's tied for second. So he is not, a forgotten man. He is maybe just not used in fourth quarters the way people would like. What I am, KW, here is my concern for the Ravens and really concern for Lamar. I think there are 10 ways the rest of this Ravens season goes that's disastrous for Lamar/Harbaugh, and only one way it isn't. So here's what I mean. Do we think Lamar is playing on Sunday? My guess is no, but it seems like it's up in the air, right? If he does not play, so let's take that. He doesn't play and they lose.
Yep.
I think Harbaugh probably ends up getting fired. You know what I mean? And we'll figure out why Lamar, for the third time in 5 years, all 3 years where there was some type of contract negotiation going on. He wasn't available for the end of season playoff push. That will just be what the history is, and we'll see what it was. That's not good for him. He doesn't play and they win. Now they're in the playoffs. Man, Lamar comes back, and this team, how are they going to beat the Steelers? By riding Derrick Henry, right? Comes back for the first playoff game. He's a lesser version of himself. He already has had, not great playoff history. There's only one way Lamar comes out of this in better position than he was. This is the year when he's dealing with 6 different injuries, he finally goes on that run, or they won 2 games in a row, one of their best wins of the year. Their 2 best wins of the entire season have come in games Lamar didn't play. Everybody knows he's a demonstrably exponential better player than Tyler Huntley, but oddly, the Ravens' 2 best offensive games all year have come in games Lamar didn't play. That feels like that's bad for the Lamar-Harbaugh relationship. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, he is either going to miss the rest of the year or come back from an injury that was enough to keep him out of a must-win game when we have seen him come back from injuries, not play his best. I just don't. It
But
feels.
if he comes back for, let's say they win with Tyler Huntley against Pittsburgh, he plays in the playoff game. For sake of argument, let's say they lose to Buffalo or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
You think
It's just another playoff law. It's another one and done
if he
in the
plays
playoffs.
well, then that's
it's hard.
not
No, if
bad
he plays
for him.
well and they lose, then maybe not. But
Especially
it's
to
hard
Josh
for me to
Allen.
see like them. I don't think the Ravens. We're yet to see that playoff game happen. The one where Lamar's excellent and they lose to because the defense is playing better.
Game
a clean game. It just feels what I feel like is the high water mark of the Ravens season when it's over will be Saturday. No matter what happens the rest of the way, that when it's over, we're gonna say it was Saturday.
Oof.
See, I think, Greg, Lamar has to be looking at this as an opportunity. I mean, again, no Patrick Mahomes, no Chiefs. This AFC field full of young quarterbacks, unproven quarterbacks. Even though it's been a terrible season for them, if they can get in the playoffs, I don't know what his injury, how serious it is or whatever, but I would think you're looking at this like, man, we can turn this whole thing around. This can be the year we can win it. And the thing, Nick, I think you will agree with this. If he is in the playoffs, and let's say they use the same game plan they just used, and they ride Henry, Lamar doesn't put up huge numbers, but they get to the Super Bowl. I mean, Peyton Manning, it doesn't matter. Lamar's got to understand, it don't matter what his numbers are. He just has to win.
Go ahead. Sorry.
And that kind of talks to my point of him being on the field as a threat. When you have a guy like that, you don't, because there's some people saying, Lamar, just sit him on the sideline, play without Lamar. I completely disagree with that.
Well,
I completely disagree with that because as long as you can have a guy like that to even have a thought for the defense of, man, he might do something special. You give yourself an advantage. That's what the postseason is all about. Having a distinct advantage. If you can rely on Derrick Henry to unlock the run game and then know that Lamar can push the ball down the field because that's what Tyler Huntley doesn't do.
Right.
He runs the offense efficiently underneath, but pushing the ball down the field, that's not where he thrives.
So here's the only thing you said, Brew, that I disagree with, and I know we have to move on. You said, I don't know how bad Lamar's injury is, or something like that. I feel like we do. It must be devastating. He was ruled out, essentially called doubtful, 2 days prior and did not warm up pregame in an elimination game on Saturday. So if he had an injury, that it's or something far weirder is going on, right? Either this injury, despite Harbaugh calling it just a bruise on Monday, and then on Wednesday clarified it further, that the injury was so significant that it wasn't even like he's going to test it out pregame Saturday. We now are saying he might miss, and we're not just saying Harbaugh is saying we don't know, he might miss a playoff game against their divisional rival this coming Sunday night, a win and in. If that's the type of injury he has, I don't think then, but if we get in, then the next Saturday when our playoffs start, he's going to be at the peak condition. The only other explanation is that it is another, I shouldn't say another, that it is oddly contract related, and that is a different type of devastating.
That's
right.
Not,
like
if
that's
the case, that would not be
that
good.
can't that and so
that would not be good.
That's why I'm saying I feel like we're in a rough spot where if he was not healthy enough to even attempt to play Saturday, we're going to see the best of Lamar in the next 12 days.
I wonder how much of your analysis of this has been colored by Harbaugh's awkwardness at the podium and his lack of maybe nuance in describing Lamar's injuries.
It's not just Harbaugh. Todd Monken's done it too, and it is I don't think it's just that, and I think that I know I've been banging this drum. It feels like all season, but I also took that the timing of that article last week that we all kind of agreed that came from the Ravens, as you know, because it was all nasty about Lamar. It couldn't have come from Lamar. Not say it wasn't accurate, that it was a Ravens team displaying a level of frustration with their superstar player that does not line up with, man, the guy's just gotten unlucky this year with injuries. And the
PR battle of we've yet to read, and I don't know, maybe this is just Lamar's PR, and maybe it doesn't matter, but a PR team would come out and say, Lamar is in the hyperbaric chamber. Lamar is on the, underwater treadmill. He's doing everything and anything he can. We're flying in special doctors. They're going to have to drag him off that field. We haven't heard a peep of that. Now, maybe that doesn't matter. Maybe that's just all for show, but it will be interesting. Meanwhile, in Cleveland, Myles Garrett did not get the sack record. The Steelers did not win the NFC North. Rodgers did not get a touchdown. It was the number one reason the Steelers lost, Greg.
Well, offensively, they couldn't do anything offensively. Obviously, defensively, going up against the Cleveland Browns offense, they were going to be okay, even without T.J. Watt. But without having DK Metcalf, we're seeing what this offense is. They have no ability to be explosive. They already are one of those offenses that just dink and dunk you. Darnell Williams is out, Washington, big tight end. You put the ball in his hands and he just rumbles and tumbles. And you didn't bring Aaron Rodgers in to be the savior and to cover up what you don't have. You brought him in for that reason, that last possession, that's what you brought him in for, to be a closer. And he got you all the way down there. You just didn't have those other pieces that he now needs at the stage in the place where he is in his career to help him deliver the goods. Because he did it, you got him down there, and it's like, okay, I need a player that I can depend on and count on. Some will say, well, you missed your guy on the left, you missed the running back out of the backfield on one, you missed the stick route, the out and up on the one before that, like this one right here.
You saw him. Yeah.
But you brought Aaron Rodgers to be that, to put you in position to when the game is on the line, we got a guy that we believe in that can give us a chance. Without DK Metcalf, what other options do they have offensively?
Well, I'm piggyback on what you said. No DK Metcalf. That's why they lost. They win. I'm not saying they go out there and score 35 points with DK, but they scored more than 13. They would have won that game, and DK Metcalf cost them, I think, by not being there this game, and he might cost them the playoffs because, remember, his best game of the year was against the Ravens. Yep. 7 catches, almost 150 yards. Like, he was killing the Ravens, and that was a close game that Pittsburgh easily could have lost. So, yeah, I mean, and look, I'm not absolving Rodgers. He didn't play well. I think he was, what I do agree with Myles Garrett on, he was getting rid of the ball really quicker than even usual because he didn't want to get sacked by Garrett. But he had Calvin Austin was out. You mentioned Darnell Washington and, of course, DK Metcalf. So his best weapons were gone. And I think, Greg, you know better than us, he zeroes in on a guy, like he zeroed in on MVS because that's his guy, he's familiar with him, and that was to their peril at the end of the game.
This passing chart, I agree with you about the DK Metcalf, but this passing chart is why they lost. You're not going to be functional unless you have superstar skill guys for yards after the catch. And those two green dots, the only two green dots more than 5 yards past the line of scrimmage was on that final drive when they had no choice but to push the ball down the field. Everything else he threw was to the sidelines and misses, and everything else was, as far as in reference to the line of scrimmage, one of his longest completions away from the line of scrimmage was behind it. It was a disastrous game from Rodgers in the biggest spot.
Greg, do you buy that Myles Garrett had an effect on that
100%.
passing chart? That it's like, I'm going to stand in here, air one out, and potentially get the sack record?
Yeah, look, Aaron is a historian. Brett Favre and Michael Strahan will forever be linked for Brett Favre.
But don't you think, because Favre gave him
kind
the
of
sack.
giving
That's
him
the difference.
giving him the sack record. Aaron is not about to be on that side of history where Myles Garrett, I like you, I love what you do, but I'm not going to be the quarterback that provides you that. So he already gets the ball out of his hands quicker. We saw the one time where he kind of looked at Myles like, yeah, it's not happening today. Like, that's just who he is. It's a game within the game. He was playing to not get sacked by Myles Garrett, also while trying to win the game. I don't think he was only exclusively not trying to get sacked by Myles Garrett and not trying to win the game. I definitely believe he was trying to win the game.
You don't?
Right,
You win trying to win the game, but
Nah, he
I
put a
ran
little too
through
much emphasis on the sack.
Myles Garrett sacked Drake Maye 5 times. We easily won the game. Because I'm willing to take it, and that's the risk I run. If you want to bring your risk of being sacked down to 0,
You also
I think
are
that
dealing with
changes
a
your play call.
40-plus-year-old quarterback who you're really hanging your future on.
But this was the future. You win the game, you get a week off, you're in the playoffs. That was one of the worst losses of the. You scored 6 points against the Browns in a game that if you win, you can take next week off. You have a home playoff game.
Josh Allen went Clark Kent to Superman, back to Clark Kent for the 2-point conversion. Fumble led to an early touchdown for the Eagles. Bills dropped to 11-5. Are looking at the road on the playoffs if they try to get to their first Super Bowl in a long time. What's this loss mean for the Bills?
Well, that in all likelihood, it's road games the whole way to the Super Bowl if they were to get there. And we can show you Josh on the road in the playoffs. It's the record is obviously 0-4. One of those is the 13 seconds game where he was brilliant. Overall, those stats are not awful, but it's not as good as his home playoff games, even if you take the win-loss record out of it. It's more yards, but it's less efficient. It's obviously far less touchdowns, and the passer rating drops. I don't look at this loss. I don't look at the Bills' quality as a team drastically different because Josh missed the 2-point conversion rather than he hit it. If they had won, their path gets harder. Had he hit the 2-point conversion, yes, they're still probably on the road the whole playoffs, but it's likely as the 5 seed, where round 1 you get the AFC North, and so there are different pieces of it. I still feel like they have Super Bowl upside. I have a question for you, my friend, because I don't think you thought they could lose this way. Maybe I'm wrong. But where their defense does awesome. What I've heard from you most of the year is the big flashing red light concern is the Bills have a terrible run defense.
Yes.
And so in a weird way, did this game make them scarier for you?
Hard to judge anything about any defense when you're playing Kevin Patullo's offense.
Let's see.
They gave up a total of over 400 yards on the ground coming into this game against the Browns and the Patriots. And then you play the Eagles and it's kind of just stalls out. So did it all of a sudden get magically solved, or did you just run into one of the most conservative offenses in the entire league? I'm still worried about the Bills. I'm not worried about them because I think they're overrated. Josh is now hurt. I don't think the rushing defense has been solved. And we were just talking about how Aaron Rodgers misses DK Metcalf. I'm watching. I'm like, oh, Brandon Cooks is back. Shout out to Brandon Cooks. I like Brandon Cooks a lot. But it's like, are you the number one guy all of a sudden? Like, it's this like Josh Allen versus the world Superman thing.
Well, I mean, they have a good. James Cook is
James Cook is. I'm saying who's Josh Allen have to throw the ball to?
His tight ends and Khalil Shakir.
And then they get shut out for a while. It's like, hey, fourth quarter, time to start playing football. And it worked against the Ravens, and it worked against the Bengals, and it worked against the Patriots. But it is not a recipe for long-term
Can I just
success.
follow up real quick?
Sure.
I think pretty clearly, and maybe with good reason, you right now, as we're a week out, have the Patriots atop your AFC Super Bowl power rankings.
Yes.
There are teams you would have before the Bills for second place? Because I just wonder of how much of your skepticism of the Bills is that we talk about them so much more than we talk about, because the Broncos have major concerns. They're different. The Jags, as much as I like them, have a half season worth of mediocre but winning football before they got on this hot streak. We've talked about the Texans' offense. We've talked ad nauseum about the Chargers' deficiencies. And then it's just the AFC North, whoever wins.
It might be unfair for the Bills, Greg, and I'll throw it to you, that I don't not only view the Bills against the other teams in the AFC, I view the Bills against the former Bills.
Yeah.
And the former Bills never had enough. And I think they've dropped, even without Patrick Mahomes, I think that they don't look as scary as the old Bills that didn't get to the Super Bowl. Now, maybe that's just because it was always Patrick Mahomes sitting there, but now I'm not impressed with this version of the Bills. And when they get knocked out, I think it's going to be, hey, we need to rebuild this team.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. But for me, this loss means exactly what you said. They're probably going to be on the road, but who cares? Like, you have the best player going into this year's playoffs. Period. That's how they feel. Like, get in the dance. Obviously, everyone wants to have those home games and have that home field advantage and have your crowd rooting for you and have that behind you. But when you have the best, what you feel is to be, however injured he is, the difference maker, line it up. Because what we saw last night or yesterday is exactly how they feel. We're always in it. And he's going to always put us in a position to where we have a chance to win the game. So I think they'll be just fine.
Look, I don't think the Bills stink. All right. But I am, and I give them a shot in this. I give them a shot in the AFC. But I'm starting to come along your side.
What a day.
They're not
today.
impressive. They're not
Thank you, bro.
They got Josh Allen, who's great and wild. And we saw it yesterday, and we've seen it recently. They have not looked good in a long time. They have trouble putting together 2 full halves of good football.
Yes.
All right. They didn't look good yesterday. They came on strong at the end and had a chance to win it. But overall, didn't look good. Last week, they struggled against Cleveland. All right. And I know Cleveland just beat the Steelers, but we know Cleveland's not good. All right. They played a terrible half against you guys and then a great half. All right. The week before, they were, who was it? Cincinnati. They were fortunate against Cincinnati because Joe Burrow had some brain freezes, right? I mean, they beat Pittsburgh handily. That was a good win. But they haven't played well overall for a long time, and they don't play well for 2 halves. If they were the Eagles, we would have criticisms. I mean, I feel like we nitpick the Eagles, and I get it. There's nits to pick with the Eagles. But it's the same thing with them. It's Josh Allen, and they do have a great offensive line. They got James Cook. But we are all, those of us who were saying they should win the AFC, it's all because of Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Well,
but if the
Allen
Ravens get in, you're going to say the same thing. If the Ravens get in, I can say the same, especially if Lamar plays Sunday and looks good. I can say the same thing. They got this dynamic quarterback, and they got Derrick Henry. Why can't they come out of the AFC?
That's where I disagree with you. I think because the Bills over the course of this season, 16 games, have been better than Baltimore.
Yes.
Josh has been healthier and better than Lamar. James Cook this year has been as good, if not better, than Derrick Henry. To me,
I don't think he's better than Derrick Henry.
I don't think he is.
I mean, even this year, James Cook is great. I don't want to take anything away from him, but he doesn't punish defenders like Henry. He's not as elite. Like, he's not a Saquon Barkley level running back.
Well, listen,
I know he's got the stats this year. He's not McCaffrey, Saquon, Derrick Henry.
I mean, he's going to win the rushing.
I know, but he don't make guys like. He's not the
Bruce
same.
flying high.
He's got
Derrick
a great
Henry's
offensive
supply.
line. He's really good. Don't get me wrong. He's an all-pro. Those dudes are historic level. He is not.
No. So
You're going career now.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm talking about this year.
This season he has been as good as Derrick Henry.
Look at the runs where he either ran some people over or made. I know he's not that type of back, but just made something out of nothing. He got holes to run through. So that's the difference. He's not. Again, I don't want to disrespect James Cook because he is a really good running back. That's fine. He's a really good running back.
He's just pro. It's pro Derrick.
No, he is not like.
I'm not saying he's Derrick Henry's one of the greatest players ever, but it's almost irrelevant to the point because he's an excellent player. I think that the Bills' defense stepping up yesterday for their Super Bowl chances was important. I think Josh has to play better.
But did they step up or did
I think
the
Josh
Eagles
has
just
to play better.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.